There have been moments when I was praying, but my mind was still racing. I believed God was with me. I trusted that God was able. I knew the scriptures. I knew how to encourage myself. I knew how to tell myself that everything was going to be all right. But while my spirit was trying to stand on faith, my body was still bracing for something to go wrong. I could lie down, but I could not fully rest. I could close my eyes, but my mind was still reviewing responsibilities, replaying conversations, anticipating problems, and preparing for emergencies that just hadn't happened yet. I was doing all of the things I had been taught to do, but my body was still behaving as though I was in a state of emergency. I began to wonder if I really trusted God, why do I still feel this way? If I had more faith, wouldn't I be able to pray this feeling away? But eventually I had to face a difficult truth. Prayer was not failing me. I was asking prayer to help avoid emotional and physical work that God may have been inviting me to do. I was trying to use prayer as a bypass. I wanted God to remove the feeling without asking why my body was feeling unsafe. Strong when sometimes praying about your stress is only the beginning. Prayer brings God into the process, but prayer may also reveal the next step God is asking you to take. Welcome to the Reset Room, where strong people learn to let go. I'm KL Davenport. Today I want to talk about why praying it away was not enough for my stress, and why addressing your emotional and physical needs does not mean you have stopped trusting in God. Many Christians have been taught to interpret almost every emotional struggle as a spiritual problem. If you are afraid, you need more faith. If you are overwhelmed, you need to pray harder. If you are exhausted, you need to remember that the joy of the Lord is indeed your strength. But these truths can become harmful when they are used to silence the very signals God placed within us. Sometimes the most faithful sentence you can pray is not, God, make this feeling go away or disappear. Sometimes it is, God, help me understand what this feeling is trying to reveal. Your body is not your enemy. Your body has been attempting to protect you. When you sense danger, pressure, conflict, instability, or uncertainty, your body can send you signals to help you respond. Your heart may beat faster. Your breathing may change. Your muscles may tighten. This does not automatically mean that you are weak or spiritually immature. God created you soul, body, and spirit. God also designed your nervous system. The nervous system is not evidence that something went wrong with God's design. It is part of the way your body recognizes and responds to potential threats and danger from your internal and external environments. Your present environment may be different, but your body is still responding to lessons it learned from the past. You are saying, I am safe now, but your body is saying, the last time I relaxed, something bad happened. That does not mean prayer is ineffective. It means healing may require your mind, body, and faith to come into alignment. Let me give you 4 common ways people may respond when their system senses pressure or danger. These are not labels for you to diagnose yourself. They are simply patterns that may help you recognize why your body and emotions at times appear to move faster than your conscious thoughts. In 1915, Harvard physiologist Walter Buchanan coined the phrase fight or flight. The fight response does not always look like physical aggression. Sometimes fight looks like anger or irritability, defensiveness, controlling behavior, impatience, needing to win every single disagreement. Becoming angry when plans change, feeling threatened whenever someone questions you. You may be praying for peace while arguing with everyone around you. You may be angry because your body has learned that being forceful is how you prevent yourself from being harmed, embarrassed, or abandoned. Flight can look like running, but it can also look like being a busybody. And this keeps you from allowing your feelings to catch up with you. So you're always starting another project, sending an email, cleaning another room, accepting another assignment, planning another event, helping another person. You tell everyone that you are being productive, but sometimes productivity is a socially rewarded form of escape. You are not running away from responsibility. You may be running from yourself. Flight can also look like avoiding difficult conversations, delaying important decisions, or leaving relationships whenever intimacy becomes uncomfortable. You may be praying, Lord, give me peace, but never remaining still long enough to notice what has been disturbing your peace. Freeze can feel like numbness. You know something needs to be done, but you cannot make yourself begin. You feel overwhelmed by simple decisions. You stare at the screen. You avoid the phone call. You remain in bed longer than you should. You feel disconnected from your emotions. You know you should care, but you cannot feel much of anything. And because you cannot feel God the way you once did, you may conclude that something is spiritually wrong with you. But numbness is not always rebellion. Sometimes numbness is protection. Your system may have decided that the situation feels too overwhelming to fight and too difficult to escape. So it reduces your ability to feel and respond. You may not need another lecture about trying harder. You may need a safe place to become present again. Fawn. Fawn was introduced by psychotherapist Pete Walker and is a word sometimes used in trauma-informed conversations to describe a pattern of appeasing people in order to preserve safety, approval, or connection. Fawning looks like people-pleasing, over-explaining, apologizing when you have done nothing wrong, saying yes when you really want to say no, ignoring your own needs to prevent someone else from becoming upset, reading the emotional temperature of every room, and adjusting yourself to make everyone comfortable. I can vividly recall experiencing each and every one of these responses when I encountered different difficult seasons in my life. I talk more about this in my book, Reset, When the Strong One Breaks, which is available for purchase on Amazon. The link is in the description below. But Strong One, let me be clear. I am not saying that we should stop praying. I am not saying that prayer has no power. I am not suggesting that physiology is greater than faith. I am saying that prayer was never intended to become an excuse for avoiding the wisdom and insight that our body is often trying to communicate. The turning point for me was moving from trying to bypass and avoid my stress to engaging it Instead of asking God, will you take this away? I began asking God, what are you showing me? What am I carrying? What am I afraid will happen? Where have I exceeded my personal capacity? What truth am I avoiding? What boundary have I refused to establish? What support have I been too proud or ashamed to ask for or receive? Prayer became more than a request for relief. Prayer became a place of honest engagement. Sometimes our stress intensifies because we are using spiritual language to conceal emotional truth. We say, I'm blessed. But the truth of the matter is, we're overwhelmed. We say God is in control, but we are really terrified about what will happen next. We say we're trusting God, but in actuality, we're angry that God allowed the situation to happen. My healing began when I finally stopped trying to present an acceptable version of myself in prayer. I started to say, God, I'm tired. I'm angry. I do not want to be responsible for this anymore. God, I'm afraid of disappointing people. God, part of me trusts you, but the other part of me is still afraid and uncertain. That is not weak faith. That is honest conversation that reflects a real relationship. Strong one, if you're exhausted today, you are not failing. You are human. If your heart races, your mind will not slow down, or your body feels as though it's constantly preparing for another crisis, don't beat yourself up. Learn to listen to your body. Become curious. Ask, what support do you need? Pray, but do not use prayer to avoid the real truth of your situation. Trust God, but do not use trust as an excuse to remain in an environment that is harming you. Read scripture, but do not use scripture as a weapon against your own humanity. Prayer was not failing me. Prayer was inviting me into a deeper kind of healing. A healing that included my spirit, my thoughts, and my emotions. So today, do not only pray, God, take away my stress. Also pray, God, show me what my stress is revealing. Show me what needs to change. Show me what I need to release. Show me where I need support. And give me the courage to take the next faithful step. Have you ever felt guilty for being stressed while also being a person of faith? Let's talk about it in the comments. This is the Reset Room, where we release what's been weighing us down. We embrace what matters most, and we trust God with the rest. Welcome to the Reset Room, where strong people learn to let go.